Marhaba bikum. Thank you very much for having me today. It's a pleasure being here in Dubai. Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity. First of all, it's challenging. You know, one of the biggest challenges I ever had, competing lunch and NASA at the same time. So it's crazy. So let's have it fun. So I'm the head of Israel's Economic and Trade Missions. Israeli representative of the government in charge of commercial activity and economic relations. We're based also in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. But you know, they're saying that every good lecture, you got to start with a story. So I want to tell about my first experience in the UAE, in Dubai. It was a year and a half ago, and I was in a medical conference, and just walking over there in the aisle, and what was amazed me is not the state-of-the-art infrastructure and building and the restaurants, and what was amazed me is the people. I went inside and I saw a booth of the American hospital in Dubai. I went inside, you know, trying to get some people to visit the Israeli pavilion, and then started talking with the CEO, which was Egyptian. And you know, Egyptian guy, and then I spoke with Jordanian guy, and then with guy from Lebanon, and guy from the UAE, and it felt like being home, like a new Middle East. This is the phrase that all the time was in my head, a new Middle East. This is a place when culture, it's a place when people meet. My son came the other day from school, he's 5.5, and he told me, today I learned Abu Dhabi letters. And it's amazing because you really see it's a melting pot for the entire industry. And when we look at the Israel-UAE relations, you know, we are 2 years after normalization, and we had hundreds of delegations and tens of MOUs and deals, and even the trade, which this year going to be almost $3 billion with the services. And the opportunities is endless. But it's based, I think, on strategic vision for both countries. And in the next few minutes, I'm just going to give some pinpoint about Israel, about the highlights, and a bit about the opportunities. So when we look at Israel, so we see here in terms of the population, the GDP, we have 10 million people, almost roughly 10% of the workforce are in the high tech. We are really like high-tech nation. And you know, when people ask me, how do you compare between the UAE and Israel? I think when you look at Israel, you look for a place that you can make from 0 to 1. When you look at Israel, it's a place from 0 to 1. The UAE is a place you take 1 to 100. So it's a place for the Israeli company to go east, to leverage their technology and meet with the counterparts. So just a bit about last year, about 2021, because we don't have the final date of 2022. We have almost $26 billion raise for startups around the world. We had 33 new unicorns, and I think for the first 6 months in 2022, we had another 17, which bring us to closely 100 unicorns. 74 mega rounds, 60 IPOs, and even this year, in 2022, we see this a bit slowing down because you know the entire global economy start a bit, I wouldn't say recession, but going a bit slower than what was in the COVID, but we see that it still continue to grow. This is a slide that I really like to show, and it's really show me the resemblance between UAE and Israel. So from there, you know, left side, we see 1949. Israel, it's 70 years. 1948, they established Israel. We see what were the top export products for Israel. So, you know, we had citrus, we had diamonds, we had food and drinks. And it's similar to the UAE. When UAE was established 50 years ago, you had pearl, you had fish, you have dates. And now when you look into 2021, you see software, machinery, optics. You know, we still see the diamonds, but the diamonds is 4% and not 18%. So it's shifted more closely to high-tech and services economy. But let's talk about how all began. What is the ecosystem? When we look at the ecosystem, we look, first of all, there is components. We have the academy, We have over there the academy that create more IP, more patents, more ideas. This is one aspect. And we talk about the academy, about the research. Israel was one of the highest the highest number in the world per capita of researchers and engineers per 1,000 people. 140 people out of 1,000 are engineers or researchers. Then you look at the startups and incubators, which I'll talk about it briefly. This is the hub of the innovation. You have the private funding, you have the growth company multinationals, and on top of this, you have, in Israel it's very, very unique, you have the IDF, Israeli Defense Force. So many technologies came from dual technologies. Technologies that came from VR and AR came from a pilot helmet. And things that we're looking at, the drones technology we use today for precision agri-tech. So a lot of the great mind, when you look at soldiers in the age of 20, 21, 22, in the intelligence and the managing projects of multi-millions of dollars, they get responsibility, they get management skills, and they take it later on to the industry. And when we talk about Israel, we talk about the diversity, about from the mobile to the cyber to automotive, water, energy. When I see the relation to the UE, first of all, I see the potential of impact technologies. Impact technologies in agri-tech, food security, water, education technologies, which we talk about the metaverse and other things that could put an impact. This is very important for us. And when the economy is going more digital, it means that there is more attack surfaces. It means that you need more cyber solution, you need more fintech solutions. And Israel, in a way, it's a sandbox for the world. It's a sandbox that, when you look at the future today, it's not one sector. You see cross-sectoral and cross-vertical solutions. You go into your autonomous car, and then you have a Siri, and you have a sensors that will feel if you don't feel good, and the Siri will ask you, how do you feel, sir? And they're already going to monitor in your voice that you don't feel good, and they're going to call the hospital, and the autonomous cars will take you there. So you see that in the future, you need scientists, you need engineers, you need people in multidisciplinary aspects to work together. And this is the place for that Israel can shine. Multinationals. This is one of the driving force of the economy, and we see it also in the UE. The UE attract top multinationals to do manufacturing, to do R&D. The multinationals are the one that feed the engine, because when you have a startup and you sell your startup, you make an exit, $1 million, $50 million, it doesn't matter. You're doing your exit, you sell it to Apple. Then you stay there for 5 years working for Apple. You learn global experience, you learn management in the highest level, and then you go out and you open your new startup. And so it just feeding itself again and again. The last slides, just in the back, you can look a bit, but I want to talk about culture. Because I think the most important thing in what Israel has to offer is the culture. It's embracing, first of all, embracing the failure. On the government perspective, every year we fund approximately $500 million of R&D projects by the government, from startups to multinationals. At the end of the year, when you look at the KPI and success failure, our sweet spot is 60%. Because if we had an 80 or 90% success in the investment, it means that we fail. It means that the government, we went too sure, we went to the easy investment, not to the investment at cutting-edge technologies. So we embrace the failure. And in the government, when we put the money and invest 10 and 15 and $20 million in a company for 7, 8 years, and then eventually the company fail, we don't mourn on this. We don't celebrate, but we don't mourn also, because we understand that this company that had 50 or 100 engineers, they're going out to the industry. They're going out to the industry with new IP that they develop that isn't made any fruit at that point, but from these ideas that fail, they're going to bring the new idea. I have 51 more seconds to talk. I just want to say, let's think about us, the economic and trade mission. We're here as enabler. We're here to help and facilitate any investment, any strategic collaboration. We are, first of all, a guest in this country, the Israeli and Economic and Trade Mission. We understand it's a new market, and for us, for the Israeli companies, the way to enter this market is find a local partner. Local partner could be distributors, integrator, local company. This is the place to work here. And when you look at me, look at the opportunities. Come to me, come to Ellie over there, Ellie Ellingson. She's the chief trade officer. Ask us, come to Israel. We want to bring you to Israel to visit, to feel the vibe, to feel the culture, to feel the people, see some technologies. We want to create partnership. That's what we want. And thank you very much for having me.